What's up, wrestling fans? My name is Joe Cronin. It is WrestleMania week, baby. I am ready to go. I know you guys are ready to go. And we're going to talk about the WWE Hall of Fame right now. Check this out. First of all, the first thing I got to tell you guys is obviously to remind you that tonight we're either going to be live from my other two YouTube channels, either Shame on News or JCS Gaming. Shame on News has Super Chat enabled, which many of you wanted us to be live doing so. So let me just lay out the schedule for you real quick. Tonight, I will either be live with Monetize This at 11 p.m. I'll either be live from JCS Gaming, which is youtube.com/JCS Gaming, or live from Shame on News, youtube.com/Shame on News. I will also be live before that at 10 p.m. on Twitch, calling the first hour of Lucha vs. Impact. That will be a lot of fun. We'll have some fun there. Monetize This may be broadcasted on Twitch as well, also. And that's because we cannot go live on Joe Cronin Show until July 2nd, and we can't go live on Corrupted Podcast until April 18th. So it's going to have to be on one of my other YouTube channels. So just make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels. Make sure you become a patron for at least $1 a month. That way you guys never lose connection with me should YouTube continue to screw up as they always do. But that being said, it's funny that we're still talking about the same YouTube screw-ups that we talked about back in 2012 and 13 when we had problems. It's just so funny that still they haven't figured it out. All right. So, Jarrius Robertson, just a very sad but amazing sort of little story there with him. So, I like what they're doing. I wish that they would have... created some other award too. Like, remember Ultimate Warrior wanted everybody to be acknowledged in the back? I would have thought it would have been nice if they did that. I don't quite understand why they didn't do that. You know what I mean? Because then we wouldn't have to talk about this every time WWE nominates a very young kid or someone very nice or deserving or inspirational, to be elected into this situation. Jarrius, obviously this kid, I'm very happy for him to get something like this. He's a 14-year-old now, still battling this chronic liver disease. And I love that they give him this Warrior Award, and I get what they did with it. But it would have been nice, too, if they had that sort of backstage award. Maybe they could have had the Warriors Award, and maybe they could have also had, Connor's Award or something, and they give... the Crusher Award or something, and they give it out to one of the kids or, somebody who's inspirational in the community or wherever, I don't know. But it would have been nice if they had maybe another one to do so we don't have to bring it up all the time. But, yes, congratulations, man, for him. And then let's get the celebrity out of the way. I hope I'm not missing people. I may be missing people on this list here. I don't see Kid Rock in the photo. Then Kid Rock is going to be there and sure in the celebrity wing. I don't understand still why many other celebrities... Cyndi Lauper is the biggest one that comes to mind. Why in the world is Cyndi Lauper not here? And maybe they have asked her. I mean, that is something we don't know. If they've asked her in the past to come and she didn't want to, I don't know that information. That'd be a great question, though, for the WWE. That could be one you would ask Vince, I guess. And but then there's the Dudley Boyz being inducted, which is pretty awesome. Absolutely deserve to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The Dudley Boyz are legendary, and the accolades for them are off the page. And, when you were watching them, it didn't feel like that was necessarily going to happen. It felt like they were a very good, very hot tag team. You didn't think Hall of Fame because the Dudley Boyz always, when you think Hall of Fame, sometimes you think about the older people, the older wrestlers. But, the Dudley Boyz, man, they never got old. They never really had a chance. They're definitely one of the youngest, you know what I mean? In fact, all the nominees here really are. All the people in the Hall of Fame this year. I mean, aside from, I think, Hillbilly Jim is really the senior here. Hillbilly Jim definitely deserves it, and his time had definitely come. The Dudley Boyz, just absolutely Hall of Fame worthy. And if you put up, any other tag team against them, it would be hard to argue that they're not maybe better than most other tag teams. They're certainly in my top 5 tag teams of all time. And, that's a list for another show, but And I still don't even know what that list exactly would be, but they certainly, I would believe, maybe at the top of that list. And so moving on from the Dudley Boyz, that's wonderful. I can't wait tonight to see that. We have Ivory, who I'm pretty happy about Ivory. Ivory had a long career in wrestling, you know, just many years, very talented, flew under the radar a little bit in many ways, especially maybe in the minds of some of the people who, you know, go back and watch the Attitude Era, go back and watch the WWE from the early 2000s to late 90s. Maybe she flies under the radar for some people, but yeah, she just did a lot of stuff. I thought she was really good solo, but she really stood out when she did that Right to Censor gig. And you know, Ivory didn't get a whole hell of a lot of character opportunities, but that Right to Censor one was really one of her first, to me, that I can remember. And that Right to Censor one was, she nailed it. It almost makes you wonder, like, you know, what would have happened if they'd maybe given her some more type of character stuff to do, because that was just done wonderfully. And so, yeah, man, I love Ivory. Hillbilly Jim is a long time coming for sure. The Dudley Boyz. And then, of course, Goldberg. Goldberg was obviously, you know, compared to every other competitor here, Goldberg's career was probably the shortest, I want to say. But, man, did he leave his mark. He changed the landscape. And perhaps, you know, he probably saved the WCW from getting stale quicker than they did. Because the NWO and everything was coming along pretty damn well, but it was starting to be already, you know, it's already been there. And then Goldberg comes in and this streak happens. And I'm telling you, man, people that used to make fun of me for watching wrestling as a kid, when I was in school, people that made fun of me for watching wrestling were all of a sudden doing Goldberg spears and stuff. It was crazy. It was like I was watching what I went through when I was 4, 5, and 6, and 7 years old when Hogan was kicking ass. I was watching all these middle school kids go through what I went through when I was younger, loving wrestling, loving Hogan. They were loving Goldberg. And I like Goldberg, you know, but I was a WWF guy more. I more watched WCW to hope that they didn't do well. But I couldn't help but be excited with many things they did in the NWO, and especially Goldberg, stuff Goldberg did. And, of course, his first run in the WWE wasn't very good. But what he came back and did last year and the last few years has really been really cool. And he's absolutely a Hall of Famer. And so congratulations to Goldberg. And that's going to be great. And, of course, I think Mark Henry is off of this. Isn't Mark Henry? Mark Henry's being inducted, and this I believe this picture is not showing Mark Henry, so we're missing Mark Henry. We'll get to Mark Henry in a second. Well, you know what? Let's talk about him now. Screw it. Mark Henry is, I want to say, beyond lovable. I mean, he's not beyond lovable. He's just so loved at this point when it comes to WWE. Mark Henry is adored at this point. You remember when he almost retired the first time and it was a fake and he turned on Cena? I mean, that was just one of the highlights of his career, but there's so many more. You could go into, you know, sexual chocolate stuff that he did. You could go into the Nation of Domination and his many different kind of changes and turns and looks. Mark Henry is a guy who I believe is probably a huge, I never met him, but I'm sure he's a class act, and I'm just so happy for Mark Henry. What an amazing career. What has he been in the WWE? I want to say as long as Kane, or no, around at the same time as Isaac Yankem, or rather Kane and Glenn Jacobs. Just a long-time veteran. When Mark Henry joined the WWE, I was 12 years old, I believe. I was 12 years old. Like WrestleMania 12 and 13 were happening when Mark Henry joined the WWE, I believe. And that is something that is amazing. I felt he could have had maybe 1 or 2 title runs more. He was never someone that I absolutely loved seeing, like, you know, have amazing matches all the time. But he was a guy who was professional and just always solid. And when you needed a big guy to do something, either put somebody over or to destroy somebody or to look intimidating, like he did it. And when he was doing comedy, he got that too. He could have fun and do comedy, and all the fans could laugh with him, and then they could hate him, and then they could love him. So, I mean, when you look at that, you know, you may not have him as a 10 in all those categories on your list, but he executed all those categories, which is something that's rare in wrestling. And, yeah, man, Mark Henry's a goddamn legend, so that one really is going to tug at the heartstrings. And also, one that will tug at the heartstrings for me is Double J Jeff Jarrett. I mean, this guy was... Now, maybe if you weren't a kid when he was in the WWE like I was, when I was 11, you know, when I was 10, Double J came into the WWE around WrestleMania 10 time, a little before that. And, you know, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old. And, you know, he ended up coming back in the Attitude Era, having that run with Owen Hart and Deborah and everybody. I mean, I thought Double J was great. When I was a kid, I hated him. But that's what was so good. To me, he was sort of taking over the role of where Shawn Michaels was in the mid-card. He was a top mid-card guy at a time. And I really enjoyed Double J as a kid. With My Baby Tonight, that whole thing with the scam of him singing and it turning out to be the Road Dogg, probably one of the most memorable things that, you know, he'll do. But, I mean, I remember him for also being just a great... good Intercontinental Champion or nemesis of Razor Ramon, things like that. And what he did with his career after WWE, I'm sure they won't talk about that much, but, you know, this guy didn't just disappear. You know, what went down at WCW, TNA. So all that stuff is a reason why I'm pretty happy for Jeff Jarrett. And I hope when Road Dogg inducts him, as cynical as we all want to be, and as much crap as I can give Road Dogg sometimes, and I know I said to Road Dogg, I hope people, you know, really don't boo you tonight or do anything stupid. And he said, I don't care. You know, they can boo me or cheer me. I hope they don't, because I hope it's all about Jeff. And he said something to that effect. And I agree with him, but I still hope they don't do it, because it's Jeff's moment, you know. You can chant you killed SmackDown on a different night to Road Dogg, but it's going to be so good for Jeff Jarrett tonight. Congratulations to everybody. I hope I didn't leave somebody out. If I did, it's because I'm half asleep. It's going to be a hell of a Hall of Fame in 2018 tonight. I'm looking forward to it. And congratulations to everybody. I really do think everybody here is deserving. I don't have any complaints, other than the fact that I would have liked to see Cyndi Lauper and Vader involved in this too. And, of course, Mark Henry and Kid Rock didn't make this picture for some reason, but I probably should have grabbed a sooner one, or a more current one, rather. But again, remember, guys, Monetize This tonight at 11 o'clock will emanate from my other YouTube channels, so make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels right now. Do it now. Do not forget about Monetize This tonight at 11. Don't forget that I'll be calling the first hour of Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground on Twitch live tonight at 10 p.m., an hour before Monetize This. And hit me up on Twitter at Real Cronin, and to become a patron so you get all these alerts in case YouTube dies, YouTube censors me like they continue to do. You need to be on Patreon, because at some point we may not be on YouTube anymore. So patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Become a patron for at least $1 a month. That's $12 a year. Certainly I think you guys would love to do that. We need your help. And thank you to everyone who signed up. Bradley205 for becoming a $5 patron. And everybody else, D-Moon upped his pledge from 25 to 30. And we'll see you tonight, guys. More stuff coming. NXT predictions video coming. My NXT review going to Patreon from this week's episode of NXT. And, man, we're getting ready for WrestleMania and the Hall of Fame tonight. We'll be live all over the place on JCS Gaming, which is Battle Royal Battalion. And, of course, on Shame on News, perhaps. And twitch.tv/Joe Cronin JCS. See you guys tonight.